What's going on, everyone? Wow, that's not my intro at all. Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attacker Productions. Today we have Matt with his first place Gogeta deck profile.
Hey everybody, it's Matt. How are you doing? I haven't done a deck profile in a while. I had the long remembered and used to be good, but now been meted to the grave, Larry Allen 1.0.
Is there somewhere in the archive? Maybe I'll throw it on the screen. Oh, there. Okay, it's gone now. With that being said, there are buttons. Click them. But Matt, this is actually a pretty legit deck. Let's get into the profile.
All right, so here we go. This is the new, I say new, it's from last set, but it is the red Gogeta leader. It's the evolutionary Gogeta. The deck starts out with your basic stuff, your 4 Raditz super combos. We all know what they do. Discard 1, draw 2. They're fantastic when you're going for game or when you're looking for fusion pieces if you have to use them early on. Since this leader does awaken at 4 and you have to have 4 life or less to play them. Then
got a quick question. Speaking of the leader, what does the leader do?
Oh, well, the leader is relatively straightforward. On the front side with your leader, you search for a red extra card when he swings. You can take a life into hand if you want. With the current meta, especially with Wideboard, I usually don't unless I'm desperately searching for something. It is a self-awaken, so if you're playing like U7 or something that just doesn't swing, yeah, it's worth taking a life into hand. But with the current Wideboard meta, I typically don't take the life. I just look for the top 7 for an extra card. And you'll notice there is a ton of red 1-drop extra cards in this deck. When he awakens, you restand 2. And one thing to note, both on the front and the back side, when he fuses with the Union skill, you do draw a card. On the back side, he's fantastic. He's 20,000 double strike when he swings. Additionally, as I said, when you Union Fuse, he draws a card. So that takes us to our Union Fusion material. I have 4 1-drop Son Gokus and 3 1-drop Vegetas. And I'll explain here in a second why I only run 3 of the Vegetas. So when you're searching for your red extra cards, the key one you're typically going to be searching for, depending on your opening hand draw, is Birth of a Super Warrior. Birth of a Super Warrior allows you to search your deck and take the vanilla 1-drop Goku and 1 vanilla 1-drop Vegeta into hand. Alternatively, you can do it from the drop. So one really nice thing is you can keep fusing over and over with the same 2 pieces. That being said, draws what they are, I think it's still helpful nevertheless to run at least 4 Goku. With Vegeta, the reason I only run 3 is I also run the 2-drop Godly Aura. This thing is fantastic because when you use him as a fusion piece, you get to search your deck and take a Gogeta into hand. Now keep in mind you can't get him with Birth of the Super Warrior, so you've pretty much got to draw into him. For our fusion pieces themselves, the main one is your 5-drop Gogeta, who does have Deflect. When he's played, he negs all battle cards, minus 15. The Deflect is huge because it seems like everybody right now, except for red and black, have really, really strong counterplays. So the Deflect on him is fantastic, and there are times where you may not go up any higher depending on what your opponent has. Because when he's played, you get to draw 2 cards, and the board negging is absolutely fantastic. The next piece, and I'm going to go a little out of order here, is I run 4 of these Gotenks unisons. The Gotenks is essentially, you typically don't want to put him on the board until you're ready to go for game, because if you play him early, your opponent is going to see him and try to bring him down. When you fuse with him, he adds a marker to the Gotenks. And when you fuse, and when you X-Evolve with the big boy here, the 6-drop Gogeta, he adds 2 markers to the Gotenks. So when the Gotenks gets up to 6, you can neg him 5, and he gets double strike, dual attack, 30,000 power. If you want to get aggressive really early, you can play him out, say, I wouldn't do it before turn 4, but I guess there's a scenario where you may want to do it turn 3 if you can awaken. You play the Gotenks, you awaken, restand the 2 energy, and then you now have 3 open energy to go into the 5-drop if you wanted to do it on turn 3. That being said, if you don't win turn 3, you're probably screwed. And it's very rare, unless you're playing an ultra-aggressive wideboard deck, that you'd probably have the chance to win on turn 3. The 6-drop is obscene. One annoying thing about the 6-drop is he doesn't have deflect. But if you're playing blue, that's not the end of the world because he comes in for free. So if you get Trunks God Sealing Techniqued, you can just come back and just say, okay, and then put him right back on the field. One thing to be aware of with the 6-drop is you can't play battle cards for the rest of the turn. So before you play the 6-drop, if you have it in hand, you want to go ahead and play I run 2 of these. You can only play 1 at a time, though, of these nice little Piccolos, who are double strikers, 15,000 power, but they do go to the warp at the end of the turn, and they are played when your Unison card has 3 or more. So let's say you hard cast him for 2, he's then going to get him up to 3, then you play him, and then you then play him, and he'll get him up to 5. But of course, the problem then is you can't neg him 5, so you've got to be really careful with your order to get him where he needs to be. It's pretty difficult to do, but he's more of a late game play, because more and more lately you're going to need to play control with red. And I am not a control player. I have been dragged kicking and screaming into playing control just because it's the current state of the meta. And when you're going for control, there are a few things better than your Jiren Unison, who can work in concert with your 6-drop Gogeta. Because your 6-drop Gogeta, when he swings, he can neg a leader card, a Unison card, a battle card by 20. Additionally, your Jiren can, I believe it's just battle, excuse me. Yeah, he can activate a battle card minus 25. So, you could get rid of, you could get rid of a 40,000 SCR that didn't have barrier in combination with these 2. Now, there's still a lot more Gogetas I run in this deck. There's the OG 8-drop.
Let's make this a little clear up, actually.
Sorry.
You're good. I'm just bouncing everywhere real quick.
Yeah.
Running out of space.
So
Whoosha.
Here's the OG 8-drop Gogeta. Again, doesn't have deflect, doesn't have barrier. But he is a potential game winner because he can X-Evolve onto the 5-drop Gogeta. And when he does that, if your opponent does not have any battle cards, they immediately crit 2 life. Now, of course, in the old days, when he was hyper relevant, especially with my old Larry Allen deck, the only real counterplays in the game at the time were like Champa the Trickster, Vegeta the Cruel, stuff like that. Today it seems like there's probably 1,000 different counterplays, so it's pretty rare to find an opponent in a position where you can get him off, but nevertheless he's still useful because of the SCR. The SCR is just absolutely obscene. And what you do with him is you just throw a 35,000 off the board, and it can be in rest because it doesn't X-Evolve. So for example, you can swing double strike with him, and then if that still doesn't win the game, throw him away, go into the SCR. The SCR is a double striker. He gives your leader a power burst, and he decreases all combos -5 on your opponent's side. A little bit more Gogeta tech. This is from it was from a video game. I can't remember the exact name of the game.
It was a Switch one, yeah.
But
Heroes.
this guy, I wanted so badly, I actually went and bought the video game just to get him, and then I took the video game and traded it in to one of the video gaming stores. Probably took like a $20 loss on it.
Look, truth be told, I used to work GameStop, and I got my copy because someone traded their game in. And I'm like, we can't take the cards. They're like, you would keep them. I'm like, okay.
But he is fantastic. If you are at 2 life or less, you can play him dual attack, triple strike. The downside being he doesn't have barrier or deflect. But if it's a late game situation, your opponent's tapped out and doesn't have a Unison on the board, he can be a game winner.
But he's thick. It's hard to hit 8-drops. So
Yeah.
that's good.
This guy is a recent addition, Gogeta, and I'm going to move these. This guy is a recent addition. He is a free Union Fusion. You get to draw a card, a Goku and a Vegeta, and then you can pay 3 and put pretty much any Gogeta in the deck down on him. Again, you're running into the same issue with no deflect, but in a late game situation, you can get an 8-drop out for essentially all of 3 energy. And then, once you get your 8-drop out, you can go into the SCR. Finally, if all else fails and you're desperate, man on a mission, warp your entire drop, which kind of sucks, but hey, at the end of the day, he is a double striker, and he can win you a game very late. And now we're just kind of getting into wrapping up, just getting into the tech. I should run more than one exploiting weakness. I only have one right now.
Run 8 of them.
It's getting reprinted.
It's cheap.
I'm probably going to take him up to two minimum, probably 3. He doesn't ignore barrier, but that being said, he can wipe a board. He's not great against the new Bergamo revised leader because all those folks have barrier, but he actually won me a game tonight against what was it, Slug?
The Toa.
Or the new Toa deck that brings out all the slugs and all those fun guys. This guy, I think, is the single most important piece of red tech in the game because he can save you in so many ways. He can stop you 7. He gets that Vegeta Invoker off the board. He can cripple the new Bergamo because he can get one of the siblings off the board, so they stop getting their extra effects. You can essentially you activate main for 2, neg any battle card 25, ignoring barrier, or you can hard cast him for 3. And I believe it's neg everything 20, but it does not ignore barrier. Nevertheless, I think he is beyond critical red tech and criminally underappreciated in the current meta. Finally, we've just got our negates, the relatively straightforward. I run 1 max power. It's essentially a double negate. You can play it, then warp some cards, get it back into hand, but you can't play it again that same turn. You can also use it to bounce a card. Doesn't ignore barrier, but you can use it to bounce a card greater than your opponent's energy. 3 good old sparkling negates with after image. These can be fun when used in concert with your Jiren Unison or your 6-drop Gogeta that has the ability to neg somebody 20 in a battle, because you can essentially just keep stacking negging, as Red loves to do. I run 1 Violent Raise. I'm only at a 1 of right now just because with a lot of wideboard decks, the power doesn't go over 15. Bancroft, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Broly Servant guys are 19. Is that correct?
The 3-drop is 19, but the 4-drop is 20.
So it doesn't, it's good against Broly, but if a bunch of 19s swinging, it's not super useful.
Turn 2 you play against Broly, it stops them. Turn 3 you play against Broly, it can still stop them.
So, all right. So, in that case, I probably may need to consider going up to 2 Violent Rays. And finally, this won me in back-to-back plays tonight, Topo. I had to play him in back-to-back turns against Bergamo to keep buying time to eventually go into the secret rare. But, Topo, critical piece of red tech, he makes red. So that's the deck. It's a lot more versatile than the original Larry Allen. Because it has a control mechanism, and it is not, while it's linear, it's adaptable, and it can buy time and it can stall, which a lot of red can't do. And if you're a control player, which again I'm not, but I'm being forced to do it, you can use Jiren in concert with Afterimage and in concert with your 6-drop Gogeta to really neg the field. One omission you may ask about is, where is Wolfang Fist? I hate that card. Part of it...
All right, video's over, sorry. No, I'm joking.
Part of it is I was so bitter, because I am primarily a red player. I was so bitter by how good the cards that yellow, green, and blue got in that set, and how Wolfang Fist, relative to those, was very inferior. It is a good card. It can, in concert with Jiren, take care of something up to 40,000. But the deck's already at 52, and I would prefer a hard negate. Well, After Image isn't a hard negate, but it negs 10, and it adds you 40. I would prefer something like that to Wolfang. that only drop something 15, and if your opponent's going for game, it's probably not going to save you in the grand scheme of things if they've got super combos.
Yeah.
So that's the deck. I appreciate you watching, and take care, guys.
And with that being said, wait, actually, was that your last words? I like doing last words with people.
I'm sorry?
Is that your last words, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Take care? All right, cool. Fluff, would you lead us out?
Yeah. Wolfang Fist is really good. But read your cards, know your plays. Like always, Fluff out.